In a world of 1,000 PC cases, Antec brings you a new one, the Performance 1 case.
Look, that's literally cat hair.
Oh my,
no. Not the YouTube play button. This is a performance case, hence the name. Costs $160.
And it comes pre-installed with 4 fans. You got 3 in the front and 1 in the back. It's also a very roomy case, in fact, so you have tons of space to build in. But before we get into the PC, let's have a quick word from today's sponsor.
BOB Keys. This video is brought to you by bobkeys.com. You guys know the drill. You've just finished building your brand new PC, you boot it up, and bam, that hideous Activate Windows watermark appears. And the worst part is you forgot to budget $200 for an activation key from Microsoft because you spent it all on RGB. But that's okay, because you don't need to spend $200. You can pick one up from today's video sponsor, bobkeys.com, for 1/10 of the price. The best part is you can use my code TT25 for 25% off, which takes this already cheap Windows 10 Pro key from around $22 to $16. If you're in the UK, that's £13. You place your order, your activation code gets added to your orders page, you whack it into the Windows activation screen, and boom, you're fully activated. No more watermarks being burned into your retinas. TT25 for 25% off, link in description. Before we get started on the build, we're gonna do a little bit of a teardown so we can see what we're dealing with.
So on the front of the case, this is tempered glass right here on the side.
It's also slightly tinted as well, so it should
Yes.
help make your RGB look a little bit less bright. Over on the front, we have our mesh panel, so you should be getting plenty of airflow through this. You can see it is fully mesh, which is very nice.
And then on the top of the PC, we have the I/O right here. So this is the power button, this is the reset button, this is your headphone audio jack, and then these two are USB 3.0. We have a USB-C, and then this button controls your GPU or your CPU temps on the screen that is right here. There's an LCD screen built into the front of the case.
We'll obviously show you the screen a little bit more later when we've actually built the PC. Now, what's quite cool about this case is that you can also remove this top section completely. So you can pop this off, which will reveal this little dust filter right here. And then there are 2 screws located here and here. And if you take them out, this whole section just pops off. Definitely makes installing like radiators much easier because you can do it outside of the case and then just drop it in. And it also makes it easier to access like cables and stuff later on as well when you're plugging things in. And then finally, we just need to remove our rear panel right here. Now there's a pretty cool feature here as well.
Yeah, another cool feature about this case is that the metal panels that Antec have included on the back of the case for cable management.
So this first one just pops off like this. This one just lifts up. And you can see there we've got a bunch of space in the bottom and all of our cable management.
Now, one thing that Antec's always pretty good at is always adding those extra Velcro straps for their PC cases. Every case that we've ever reviewed, they've always had lots of them. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pre-installed Velcro straps for your cable management. So that's really nice. Now that we have taken the case pretty much apart, let's go ahead and start the build in the case. So the motherboard that we are using is our MSI motherboard. Now, we were going to use a black motherboard, but we didn't really have any free at the moment, and we are still waiting on our new AMD chips to come. So this is the motherboard that we are going to use.
Yeah, so this is a Z790 board. We've got our Intel 12900K in the waffle case. There we go, line up our arrow with this, drop it in there.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Next up is our RAM. I really like the design of these RAM sticks. They're pretty cool looking.
Yeah, I think G-Skill actually were the first, weren't they, to do RGB RAM?
Were they?
Yeah, they were like one of the first. There's one, you wanna do the other one?
I will do the other one.
Actually, it looks pretty good.
It does, right? And last is our M.2. Now, is this a 1 terabyte?
It's a 2 terabyte.
2 terabyte, even better.
Yeah, 2 terabyte NVMe. So this motherboard's actually quite cool because you can
Super nice.
just take it off like that. There's
No
not even any screws, and there's no screws to this either. Do you say either or either?
I feel like I say either. That's
Cool.
everything for the motherboard. Moving on to installing it into the case.
Yes.
Can't forget the lazy Susan. Always comes in clutch.
Now we're gonna need some screws. So this case can fit basically any size motherboard, so everything up to like E80X. You'll probably notice once we put this in, there's quite a bit of room left over at the top, which is great because it means you can fit like massive radiators in there.
Yes. I feel like this case would be weird to build a mini ITX
Yeah.
motherboard and stuff. So I don't know how good this case is going to look with the silver and the white, I think we're kind of doing like a silver, white, black theme with everything. I don't know, I just like that the motherboard pops with the black. So now that we have the motherboard installed, let's go ahead and flip the case up so we can install our solid state drives. Now in the back of the case, we have room for 3 solid state drives, and then down at the bottom, we have room for 2 hard drives. Now the solid state drive that we have, if Josh wants to grab it real quick, is in fact an RGB solid state drive.
I guess it's kind of cool because there is actually tempered glass on the back here, so you will be able to see it.
So if you want to unbox that.
So that's what it looks like close up. And I think this is a 1 terabyte model.
All right, so which one do you want to put it in? I think we should put it in the middle one.
Probably put it in the middle.
And we're gonna need some screws.
Pop that into there. I do like that there's loads of these thumb screws.
The captive screws?
Yeah.
Those are nice. So far, the case is looking really good. Now we're gonna go ahead and install some of the fans in the case, and while I go grab those, Josh is gonna tell you what kind of fans you can fit in the case.
Yeah, so as we said earlier, you get 4 fans pre-installed. So you got 3 in the front. These are 140 millimeters, so you're gonna be getting plenty of airflow from them. And then in the back, you have 1 120 millimeter fan. Now you can also fit 3 in the bottom and 3 in the top as well. So that's a total of...
Mathies, do some mathies.
11 fans.
So the fans that we are going to be using in the case are also from Antec. We've used these before on the channel. These are the Fusion fans. I believe this comes with 3 each, so we have 6 of them. Let me grab a knife. Oh, did you know I found our other knife? So we have 2. Oh, I was gonna open one. That's why I grabbed 2
I
of
thought
them.
you handed it to
God
me.
damn it.
I think I prefer fans that have like a halo glow. You know, rather than the middle being lit up.
Never really thought of it.
No.
So many cables.
Here's a quick close-up of these fans. We should have 7 altogether, because you're doing 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom, and then we're swapping out the rear fan.
I don't know if you guys can see. Maybe you can't. Let me see. Rico is like dead, sleeping over here.
He's not actually dead.
You want to come say hi to everybody? This is our little sweet boy. He is such a loving kitty. He loves being pet.
He also loves food.
No, that's Benji. Are you tired? You want to go back to sleep? So we're going to start with installing 3 of them on the bottom first. You got your 3? What?
I found it.
You found it? We were looking for... Listen. Were you recording when I said,
I think I was, yeah.
Babe, I think you left it in the case. And you're like, no.
I don't know where the mini thing went, though.
Is it stuck in the case somewhere?
It was stuck in the motherboard. The case actually seems really good for cable management so far. We got like cable grommets here. There's some up here as well.
It's always so much better building PCs with 2 people.
Yeah, it's much easier.
We're gonna need some long screws for those. Miko is in the back.
No, not the YouTube play button. By the way, for optimum performance, you'll want to flip these fans, but today we're going for maximum aesthetics. Are you proud of me for using 4 screws in each fan this time?
Your Dollar General PC builds.
Let's swap out the rear fan.
You got Coke? Oh, you brought me one too.
And it's cold.
Oh ho ho ho.
Cheers.
And it's Coke Zero.
Yes.
No sugar. So now for one of the best parts of the case, we're going to put the top back on, but first we're going to mount the rad onto the top of the case before we put it in, and then we'll put it inside when all the stuff is done. Okay, so this is the rad that we were going to use. Now we took this out of another PC.
How is it this dusty? I think this is the cat's fault.
It's definitely the cat hair.
Look, that's literally cat hair.
Oh my God.
You can see.
Yeah, so for all those people that always ask, do you guys get dust and cat hair in your rads or in your PC? Yes, I don't feel like there's a way to not even... This is unacceptable. When was the last time you cleaned your PC?
I think it was literally only 3 months ago since we moved in here. But we don't have any of our air purifiers at the moment to like get rid of this stuff. And the cats have just been everywhere.
Give us a second to clean it. We'll be right back.
A few minutes later.
All right, there you go. Clean rad.
So, if you're wondering, this is the Deepcool LT720 AIO. It comes with this nice little removable pump block cover. And it has an infinity mirror RGB design as well.
And you got your rad
You got more screws.
Josh and I have both been playing a lot of games recently. In particular, Josh, you're playing
Assetto Corsa.
Corsair. What, Corsair?
Corsa.
Ever since he got his racing sim, he's just been living it up on that thing.
So much fun. I like it as well because it's the kind of thing that you can like hop in and out of without having to get engrossed in like a story. But yeah, you've been playing, what is it, Traveler's Rest?
Traveler's Rest is such a good game. You
It looks exactly like Stardew Valley.
No. Okay, it looks like Stardew Valley, but the graphics look a bit better, and it's different because you get to run your own tavern, like back in like the old times, and serve beer and all that stuff. It's really cool.
So next we need to put it into here.
That should be fine.
That should be good. I'll actually need you to pull through these cables, and then we just line that up and pop it in like that. I think we might actually leave the screws out for now, just in case we need better access to there later for the cables.
Time for the thermal paste.
There we go. I wish more AIOs came with removable block covers.
Yeah, it makes it much easier.
Yeah.
All right, so we're done with that. PSU time. I actually really like this PSU. I unboxed it, I believe, last month on social media.
So this is a 1000 watt PSU. Should be plenty of power.
It's their signature line.
Yeah, it's a really nice looking PSU.
We got all our cables plugged into the PSU. We've got our special cables from Lian.
I think it's actually launch day on the day that you guys will be seeing this video for these cables. So these are the Strimer Plus V2 cables. Now you might be thinking, wait, they already came out last year. These are the updated ones for RTX 4000 series. So if you were someone that had the previous ones and then you got an upgrade, you just couldn't use them because of the new connectors. So there's 3 different versions of these cables. The one at the bottom here is for if you have an older style power supply, so you'll be using these 3 PCIe connectors right here.
That's actually the one that we're going to be using in our build today with this PSU, and then we have the other 2 on the top here that are a little bit different.
Yeah, so if you have like a newer ATX 3.0 PSU, you'll have basically one of these 12 volt power connectors directly on your PSU, so you can connect these to the extension. And then this one at the top is also for ATX 3.0, but it's slightly thicker, so you get 12 light bars instead of 8. We're going to be using this one.
We're also using the motherboard version of the V2 cables for this PC build as well.
There we go.
Case time.
So this is actually one of those cases that has the removable bracket.
All right.
We'll get all the cables plugged in, so like CPU, GPU, motherboard, and all the front panel connectors. This is where we get to test out the cable management.
You know what this reminds me of? The freaking shoes that you would get as a kid.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody had those. So we've got everything plugged in. This is what we're dealing with in terms of cables.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of cables. This is like the worst case scenario. I mean, we have what, 7 RGB fans, and each of those Antec RGB fans have 2 cables, so that's already 14 cables. And then you've got your 3 fans at the front as well, so that's 17. We're also using these Lian Li cables as well, which come with a hub. We have 2 Antec hubs.
See, the cable management is really good on this case.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's just because we're using a lot thicker, I guess, cables than most people probably would be using.
And one of the issues as well with these like kind of fans is the cables just aren't long enough to route properly and be able to reach stuff. So you can see here, we've got the hub all the way up here because these cables are like pretty short.
Let's go ahead and try and put these on, see if we can get them to work.
Yeah. That's totally in.
Yeah, it works. It actually doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, cable management.
We had to struggle a little bit to get that on because of the Lian Li cable, but we got the panels on. They actually do a really good job at hiding all the cables.
It surprisingly doesn't look terrible. Also, I'd just recommend use daisy chainable fans. I feel like every company needs to make daisy chainable fans now.
All right, let's go ahead and put in the GPU.
We've got our vertical bracket, which is just here. One good thing about this case is that if you do want to use a vertical bracket, when you take out these slot covers, it basically just leaves a big hole. So you're not gonna have like any of those bars in the way. You get these taken out.
All right, so for the GPU, we are using a 4080 from Palette. Now, we went with this one because it has accents of silver and it matches pretty well with the motherboard. And the back of this card is really cool as well.
You can actually 3D print like plates for the front as well. They have the files on their website. We wanted to get a 3D printer.
Yes. When we move into the new place, we're gonna get a 3D printer.
That'll probably be one of our first projects. We'll get this installed on here. They didn't arrive in time for this video, but we have some new vertical brackets on order because this is like an older one and it's really flimsy. It's okay for like smaller GPUs, but for something like this, you tend to get a little bit of sag.
It's actually not bad. Yeah, that looks great. So I think we've decided that we are going to get rid of the GPU cable because since the plug is in the middle, there's really not much clearance when the GPU is mounted vertically for this cable. So we're just gonna use the stock cable that came with the GPU and it will just be tucked in back there. But we have at least one RGB cable.
We have one RGB.
I think all that's left to do is put the panels on the case.
Yeah, let's get them. I quite like how this just snaps on. You just drop the bottom in first and then
back panel. And then that side.
Now put your fingers on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say the cables don't look too bad from the back, even though we had that extra thick Lian Li cable. We forgot to put on the dust filter on the top.
Ah, yeah. There is actually a dust filter on the bottom of the case as well. It is removable.
And I think all that's left to do is get the power cable.
Yeah, let's give you guys a quick spin.
It
looks really good.
Yeah, it looks better than I thought it was going to. I was kind of iffy about the silver motherboard with the black case.
Yeah, it all ties in really nicely, especially with like the GPU and the RAM as well.
Hopefully it boots.
Dude, I don't know if this is gonna boot. I mean, there's like a million cables back there. What's the chances one of them is not plugged in?
If you want to go ahead and turn it on.
Okay, ready?
Wait, let me look.
No!
Oh no, the lights went out!
Okay, now we're ready.
What is it gonna look like? Ah, there it goes!
Where's the fans? Yes!
Oh, the fans look really cool. It looks pretty good,
It
honestly.
does.
Good job.
Good job. It's
Oh.
very loud at the moment.
Look
We need to hop into the BIOS and like adjust the fan curves. So I think because they're running on SATA power at the moment, they're all like full speed.
Yeah, the solid state drive looks pretty cool on the back with that
Oh
RGB.
yeah, it does, yeah. And you can customize that I think as well.
Yeah.
To whatever color you want. We'll power this down because I'm sure it's very loud.
So now that we have finished the build, what are your final thoughts on this case?
Yeah, no, I really like it. I think the fact that it's just so roomy makes it easy to build in. Obviously,
Yeah.
you've got cool features as well, like these cable management panels at the back.
I really like the panels that they added in the back. Now, we had a little problem only because it was our fault because we used the Lian Li cable that was a little bit thicker. That definitely wasn't Antec's fault. But if you were using this case and you didn't have as many cables, those panels in the back will work just as good.
Yeah, there is plenty of clearance back there. I also like the fact that the top removes as well.
Yes.
That just makes the whole build process way easier. We actually did remove it a couple of times as well when I was plugging in cables.
We did.
So that's nice. Plenty of airflow. Obviously you have that mesh front panel, so no issues there.
I also think the case looks really good with a vertical GPU. There's so much space in the front and up on the top that it just fills it up nicely.
I think I forgot to mention earlier for the radiators, you can actually fit a 420mm radiator in the front. Obviously we've just got the 360 up top.
Now what do you think for $160? Do you think this is worth that?
Yeah, I think $160 is fair for this case, bearing in mind the amount of features you get and the fact that you can basically do whatever you want in it. It would have been nice if they maybe gave you the option to buy it without the fans, because obviously not everybody is going to be wanting to use the fans that come included. They probably could have made it a bit cheaper that way.
One thing though that I didn't really care too much for on this case was the display on the top of it. I don't really feel like a lot of people would use that.
Yeah, it's more so the placement of it as well, because it's like most of the time you're sat at your desk, like how are you gonna see that? And it also takes up a USB port on your motherboard, which a lot of people are short on, so.
I mean, it's cool
Yeah.
to each their own, but I don't personally think that I would use it.
Yeah.
I would probably have something at my desk or on my AIO.
So I think that about wraps it up for today's video. Let us know what you guys think of this new case down below in the comments. Could you see yourself using this in your next build?
Maybe.
Maybe.
If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't, because we would love to have you a part of our community. And if you want to find anything that we used in the PC and the case itself, you can find all the links down below in the description. And until next time, guys, we will catch you in the next one. Bye. In today's video, my mom and dad built an amazing PC case.